In a deep province, among dusty fields and abandoned houses, stands a forgotten prison. It was once a place where prisoners were kept while awaiting their trial, but now the place has been empty for many years. However, there are rumors among the locals that you can still hear the moans and cries of the prisoners in the prison. One of the locals, named Jack, was very inquisitive and decided to find out what was really going on in the abandoned prison. He prepared for his trip to the prison by taking a flashlight, a camera, and a walkie-talkie. He arrived at the abandoned prison at midnight and began his investigation. At first, everything seemed quiet and peaceful, but after a while, Jack heard whispers and he sensed that someone was following him. He stopped and began to look around. In the darkness, he noticed some kind of shadow moving toward him. Jack got scared and started to run, but the shadow caught up with him and grabbed him. When Jack woke up, he found himself in a dark room with rusty walls and an unpleasant smell. His hands were tied and his mouth was taped shut. There was someone else in the room watching him, but Jack could not see him. After a while, the mysterious watcher opened the door and entered the room. It was a man dressed in the uniform of a prison guard. He began to speak to Jack, informing him that he was not in this prison by accident. The guard told Jack that this prison had been closed in the early 1990s, and all the inmates had been left here to die. The guard confessed that he was one of the men who killed the prisoners. He has not been able to leave this place since and has been forced to serve here for the rest of his life. He informed Jack that he was not the only one in this prison and that there were other prisoners who were still alive but confined in a secret part of the prison. The guard offered to help Jack free the prisoners, and Jack agreed. The guard took Jack to the secret part of the prison where the surviving prisoners were imprisoned. Jack saw the terrible conditions in which they lived. The prisoners were blinded and deprived of anything that could connect them to the outside world. They were forced to live in total darkness and without food or water for many years. Jack began releasing the prisoners one by one, and they were grateful for his help. They told him horror stories of what they had been through and how they had been imprisoned without trial. Jack decided not to leave them alone and decided to arrange for their rescue. He contacted the local authorities and informed them of the abandoned prison and the fact that there were living prisoners in it. A few days later, law enforcement authorities arrived, and the prisoners were released. The guard was arrested for his crimes, and the prison was closed for good. Jack became a true hero to the inmates and the people of the town. He saved the lives of many people and showed everyone that even in the darkest places, there is hope for salvation. He also helped the inmates start a new life by providing them with medical care and support to move to other cities. The story of the abandoned prison became a topic of discussion across the country, and many people wondered what might be going on behind closed prison doors. Jack became a hero in the eyes of many people and left his mark on the history of his small-town community. Some people began to become interested in exploring other abandoned places, such as old mental hospitals and educational institutions, looking for the secrets and terrors that might lurk behind their walls. Jack, on the other hand, continued his life, but now with a broader purpose. He decided to become an activist and fight for the rights of prisoners and to ensure that such horrors would never happen again. He began traveling around the country and speaking to people, telling his story and calling for action. Jack became a national hero and a symbol of hope for those in difficult situations. He was able to change the lives of many people and prove that even one person can make a big difference. The story of the abandoned prison has become a lesson to all who are involved in the incarceration of people. It showed how important it is to keep an eye on the rights of prisoners and to avoid violating the laws and regulations that protect them. In this way, the story of the abandoned prison has become not only a story of horror, but also a story of hope and struggle for justice. It reminds us that we must remain vigilant and fight for the rights and freedoms of everyone, no matter where they are.